Chosen One. You did not arrive here by accident. This moment was summoned before you pressed play. Something has been activated in the spirit, and heaven is drawing your attention because a hidden matter is coming into the light. What you are sensing is not imagination. It is a divine signal. A shift has begun, and you are standing at the threshold of revelation. Chosen One. There has been spiritual warfare surrounding your provision, your assignment, and your resources. Not because you were weak, but because what is tied to you carries weight. What was meant for you was concealed, not stolen, hidden, not lost, guarded until the appointed time. Scripture reminds us, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, as written in Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. And that appointed time is now pressing forward. Anointed One, unseen forces have been moving, watching, attempting to access what was never theirs. But hear this clearly, you are not unprotected. You are covered. You are shielded. The Lord goes before you and stands behind you. As declared in Psalm 91, no evil shall befall you, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Let your spirit awaken. Let your discernment rise. This is a divine reminder to stay alert, grounded, and attentive. What was hidden is about to be revealed, and what was guarded is about to be released. Prepare your heart. Heaven is speaking. Chosen One. There is a reason your spirit has been feeling the tension in the atmosphere lately. That subtle pull, that quiet pressure, that sense that something is shifting around you, even when nothing appears different on the surface. What you are experiencing is not confusion, not fatigue, not coincidence. It is spiritual rearrangement. It is heaven making room for what has been concealed on your behalf. For a long time, the realm of darkness believed it had the right to study you, to dissect your path, to predict your moves, and intercept your blessings. But the closer they came, the more they realized something terrifying. You are not readable because you are not operating on a human frequency. You are moving by divine appointment. Your wealth, your purpose, your next season has been hidden in a place no unclean eye can access. I say this not as theory, but from my own lived experience, because I too have walked through seasons where people tried to understand me, use me and break me, only to find themselves stumbling in confusion. And I learned then what I'm telling you now: heaven hides what hell wants. Anointed One. When certain individuals tried to pry into your life, they were not met with resistance. They were met with refusal. The spiritual realm simply shut them out. Not because you prayed louder than them, not because you were perfect, but because God has sealed certain things concerning your destiny with His own hand. I remember a time when someone obsessed over trying to figure me out, digging through my life as if they had the right to interpret my calling. The more they pressed, the more chaotic their own life became. Their plans derailed their intuition, twisted, and their spiritual clarity evaporated. That experience became one of the greatest confirmations of my life. When you are truly chosen, your blueprint is not available for public access. And now, Chosen One, you're receiving the same confirmation. The fact that your enemies can't discern you is not a weakness. It is evidence that heaven has hidden your wealth, your breakthrough, your next elevation, in a place designed specifically for you. The anointed often walk through seasons where people assume they can take advantage, where spiritual opportunists believe they can tap into your essence and extract what was never theirs. What they didn't know is that the moment they attempted to reach into your space, the atmosphere shifted against them. Their breath shortened, their intuition bent out of shape. Their once reliable gifts began to malfunction. When they tried to pull from your well, they came up with empty hands because your well was never theirs to draw from. I have felt this same divine protection wrap around me in moments when I didn't even realize I needed it. Times when someone tried to spiritually size me up, only to walk away, shaken, confused, or heavy with discomfort. It wasn't me defending myself. It was God stepping between us, reminding them of a boundary they had no authority to cross. Chosen one. This same protection surrounds you now. Your wealth was hidden the same way your spirit was hidden, strategically, intentionally, divinely. Not buried, not lost, hidden, shielded until the appointed moment when your character, your alignment, and your spiritual maturity could sustain what God was preparing to release. There were individuals who thought they could intercept your inheritance simply by observing your patterns, mimicking your movements, or copying your strategies. But the more they attempted to replicate your essence, the more their own life began to unravel. Why? Because what is ordained for the anointed is not transferable. It cannot be duplicated, reverse-engineered, or stolen. When God breathes on a person, that breath cannot be imitated. And chosen one, the breath of God is on you. There were forces, both natural and spiritual, that believed they could decode your path and get ahead of your blessing. But every attempt they made only revealed how unreachable your destiny truly is. I've lived through seasons where people watched my every step, convinced they could follow me into doors that were never assigned to them. They thought observing the chosen would give them access to the chosen's reward. But heaven does not operate on imitation, it operates on assignment. And the moment they tried to walk through doors built for me, those same doors became walls. I share this because you need to know you are not imagining the sudden failures your opposers are encountering. You are not imagining the way their plans collapse the moment they involve your name. You are not imagining the silence that meets them when they attempt to read into your destiny. Heaven is not allowing it. Chosen one. The pressure you feel is not from the attack, it is from the shift. Your wealth is not approaching, it is emerging. What has been hidden is moving into position. The reason others have been spiritually malfunctioning while trying to access your journey is because the realm of heaven has structured your path in a way that only you can walk it. Not your enemies, not your imitators, not your former connections. Only you. Even in moments when you felt lost or unprepared, God was still aligning things behind the veil, placing what belongs to you in a chamber no darkness could penetrate. I know what it feels like when the warfare intensifies right before the blessing breaks open. I know how the air feels heavier, how your dreams become louder, how your discernment sharpens and your patience thins. These are not random sensations. These are signs that the spiritual lock is turning, that the scroll with your name is being opened, that your hidden wealth is being brought into divine visibility. And chosen one, what heaven reveals, hell cannot conceal. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every anointed person's life when heaven begins to expose what has been happening behind the veil, not to frighten you, but to prepare you. That is where you stand right now. You're beginning to see how deeply the unseen realm has been involved in your journey, how intentionally God has shielded your steps, and how fiercely the supernatural world has guarded what belongs to you. For a long time, people assumed your blessings were accessible simply because you walked with grace. They mistook your humility for vulnerability, your silence for openness, and your softness for weakness. Little did they know the ground around you was sacred, reinforced by a spiritual perimeter they could never cross. And as they tried, they discovered the truth: the anointed cannot be infiltrated. When I look back on my own journey, I recall moments when individuals attempted to read me, predict me, or understand me for their benefit. Moments where people wanted to know what doors were opening for me, not to celebrate, but to strategize around me. I didn't always understand the strange heaviness that would fall upon them when they pushed too far. I used to feel guilty for the distance that would suddenly appear between us, but now I understand the mystery. God Himself intervened. He placed a seal over the next chapter of my life, and anyone who tried to access what was not theirs immediately felt the weight of divine refusal. Chosen. 1. The same seal rests over you. When others touched what was meant for your future, it was not just blocked, it was protected by heaven's authority. The Anointed One often walks through seasons where people try to force their way into your narrative. Some do it through curiosity, others through jealousy, and others through spiritual manipulation, consulting mediums, psychics, or dark practices to gain insight into your destiny. But the moment they attempted to look into your life, they were met with a void, a silence so heavy it shook their confidence. Their visions blurred, their intuition turned to static, and what they once relied upon dissolved like mist. Not because you fought them, but because heaven responded. I want you to feel the magnitude of that truth. God has been fighting battles you didn't even know were being waged. God has been blocking access you never realized was attempted. God has been shutting down spiritual surveillance aimed at your life. Anointed One. The reason your enemies cannot understand you is because you are walking under a mantle they were never meant to interpret. You are operating in divine timing, moved by whispers they cannot hear. Every time they tried to decipher your next move, God rearranged the board. Every time they tried to anticipate your decisions, heaven shifted your path. Every time they thought they had found an entry point, the Spirit sealed it shut. I say this from my own experience. When you truly belong to God, your life does not unfold according to human prediction. It unfolds by divine orchestration. And that is why your wealth was hidden. Your financial breakthrough, your opportunities, your open doors, they were not delayed. They were protected. They were concealed until the moment you would rise into the maturity needed to carry them with strength, wisdom, and spiritual authority. I've walked through seasons where I thought I was being overlooked, only to later discover that I was being preserved. God was hiding the very blessings I thought were being withheld. He hid them because the wrong people were watching. He hid them because the enemy was too close. He hid them because premature revelation would have drawn warfare I was not yet equipped to handle. I share that with you because many of the delays you experienced were not disappointments. They were divine shields. Chosen One. You must understand something deep in your spirit. There are blessings you prayed for that could not be released until the atmosphere around you changed. Heaven does not place wealth into environments contaminated by envy, manipulation, or spiritual intrusion. So God held your blessing in the unseen realm, guarding it until the disruptive hands around you fell away. And now, as those hands weaken, as those attempts fail, as those watchers are silenced, your blessing is beginning to move toward visibility. This is why you have been feeling a strange stirring inside you, something shifting, something rising, something calling. It is the awareness of spiritual movement. It is your spirit picking up on what heaven is releasing. At times it may feel like anticipation. Other times it may feel like pressure. But it is neither anxiety nor confusion. It is alignment. You are stepping into the timing that was written for you long before your enemies ever learned your name. Anointed One. The supernatural backlash your opposers experienced was not a curse, it was a correction. Heaven does not punish without purpose. Heaven instructs. and those who attempted to trespass into your promise were forced to learn a lesson: what is sealed by God cannot be touched by man. I speak this to you with a full heart, because I too have watched people stumble while trying to access seasons of my life that were not theirs. It humbled them, and it freed me. It taught me that divine protection is not always visible. Sometimes it only reveals itself when someone tries to cross a boundary God has drawn. And when that boundary holds, you realize how deeply you are loved by heaven. Chosen one. Your hidden wealth is beginning to rise. The spiritual fog is lifting. The forces that once pursued you are growing weary. And while they collapse under the weight of their own attempts, you are rising steady, untouched, guided by the one who has already prepared your next chapter. Chosen one. There is a moment in every divine journey where the unseen becomes undeniable, where you can no longer ignore the signs that heaven has been orchestrating your life with a precision far beyond human understanding. You may not have realized it at the time, but many of the strange experiences you lived through, the sudden shifts, the unexplainable delays, the unexpected releases, were all part of a spiritual architecture designed to protect what was yours long before you even prayed for it. And now, as you stand in this season, the patterns are beginning to make sense. The opposition you faced was not because you were weak, but because you carried something valuable, something ancient, something appointed, something the enemy feared more than you understood. Anointed one. The people who tried to access your destiny never understood the magnitude of what they were reaching for. They thought all they needed was persistence, proximity, or a little bit of spiritual manipulation to tap into your path. But the moment they attempted to cross into your God-ordained territory, they encountered a presence they could not comprehend. A presence that neither argued nor explained nor negotiated, because true protection doesn't need permission to act. The spiritual pressure they felt, the confusion that wrapped around their mind, the heaviness that seized their intuition were all indicators that heaven had intervened long before you ever knew you were being targeted. I've lived through this myself, sensing an invisible wall rise between me and situations that were silently designed to drain me. What I thought was intuition was actually intercession. What I thought was luck was actually divine strategy. And now that same strategy is covering you. Chosen one. The more they tried to understand you, the more they lost understanding of themselves. What they were seeking was never information, it was control. They wanted leverage over your destiny, access to your blueprint, insight into your elevation. But every time they pushed, heaven pushed back. Every time they reached, heaven restricted. And every time they tried to decode your identity, the spiritual realm distorted their own. This is why some of them walked away from you in silence. Not because they lost interest, but because something greater than you warned them to step back. This is why some suddenly shifted their energy or disappeared without closure, because approaching you required a spiritual clearance they did not possess. You may not have understood their withdrawal, but their spirit did. Their spirit recognized what their ego denied. You are sealed. And that seal is why your money, your opportunities, your prosperity, your breakthrough were hidden. Heaven was not keeping resources from you. Heaven was keeping enemies away from them. When you prayed for financial increase, God did not drop it into the open where envy could contaminate it. Instead, He placed it in a concealed chamber of your destiny, far beyond the reach of watchers and imitators. I know what it feels like to wonder why certain blessings take longer than expected. I too questioned God at times when doors seemed slow to open, but over time I learned a sacred truth. Sometimes the delay is not about your readiness, it's about waiting for contamination to move out of the way. God will not place abundance into an environment still polluted by those who intend to drain it. Anointed one. Your wealth was hidden because the wrong hands were hovering too close. The enemy wanted insight into your future so he could sabotage your present. Certain individuals wanted your elevation not for your sake, but for their validation. Some wanted proximity just so they could say they knew you before the breakthrough. Others wanted access simply to control the narrative of your success. But heaven, in its mercy, blocked them all. You didn't lose friendships, you were shielded. You didn't lose opportunities, you were preserved. You didn't lose time, you were positioned. And now, chosen one. Something powerful is happening. The people who once tried to spiritually monitor you are losing clarity. Those who used to sense your next steps now sense nothing at all. Their spiritual radar has gone silent, not because you dimmed, but because God concealed you. Those who depended on intuition to track your growth now find themselves wandering in confusion. And those who once believed they could weaponize insight against you are discovering that heaven has revoked their access entirely. I've seen this happen with my own eyes. People who once felt spiritually superior, suddenly unable to read what God was doing in my life. And it wasn't arrogance on my part. It was heaven reminding them that your destiny is not a public recipe, it is a divine mystery. Chosen one, as their abilities weaken yours, are strengthening. Where their vision blurs, yours sharpens. Where their path becomes unstable, yours becomes illuminated. This is the reversal that happens when God shifts the atmosphere in your favor. The very ones who thought they would get ahead of you now find themselves falling behind. And the ones who believed they could steal insight from your journey now struggle to find insight in their own. This is the supernatural justice that unfolds when heaven decides you are ready to be revealed after a season of concealment. Anointed one, you are rising not because others fell, but because God is lifting you. You are stepping into clarity because heaven is unveiling what was hidden. You are moving into abundance because the environment is finally safe for release. And whether you feel it or not, your spirit knows something powerful is approaching, something long guarded, something with your name on it since before you were born. Chosen one. There is a reason the atmosphere around your life has been shifting so intensely, why you felt pressure in places that once felt calm, and why your spirit has been unusually alert even on quiet days. What you're sensing is not instability, it is preparation. Heaven is rearranging the path beneath your feet, clearing away spiritual debris, exposing hidden motives and positioning you for something that was preserved long before the opposition ever appeared. And although the pressure may feel heavy at times, it is actually a sign that divine movement is happening faster than your natural mind can register. When heaven accelerates, the earth feels it, your spirit feels it, even your enemies feel it. Anointed one. The attempts made against you recently are not random. They were drawn to what they could not access. They sensed a rising in your spirit, a tangible shift in your aura, a strengthening of your anointing, and it frightened them. They could taste the change, but not touch it. They could feel the elevation coming, but not see the path. And so, in desperation, they reached. Not because they deserved insight, but because they feared your becoming. But what they discovered is what every adversary of a chosen vessel eventually learns. Divine elevation cannot be intercepted, delayed, or accessed without permission. And you, chosen one, walk under a level of protection that their intuition, their ambition, and their ego were never designed to comprehend. I've lived through seasons like this myself, where spiritual tension intensified right before a breakthrough I didn't even know was coming. Moments where I felt monitored, pulled on, spiritually tugged at by people who had no right to speak my name in rooms I never entered. And yet, every attempt they made ended in silence, confusion, or collapse. I didn't always see the warfare, but I always saw the aftermath. And now you are witnessing the same pattern, the same divine wall, the same supernatural refusal. This is not coincidence. This is covenant. Chosen one. The reason your enemies are struggling is because heaven has shifted you to a frequency they cannot reach. You are no longer standing where they left you. You are no longer operating at the level they remember. You have ascended spiritually, mentally, and energetically without even trying. And as you rose, the spiritual realm adjusted its protocols. Your access changed. Your covering intensified. Your name became guarded. Your destiny became insulated. Heaven sealed the doors behind you not to trap you, but to protect the treasures you now carry. And make no mistake, anointed one, you are carrying treasures. Not just financial blessings, not just opportunities. You are carrying divine insight, generational keys, kingdom assignments, and wealth transfers that were ordained before you ever understood what calling meant. This is why the enemy panicked. This is why certain people suddenly became curious. This is why some who overlooked you before are now obsessively trying to figure you out. They can sense the oil on your life thickening. They can feel the spiritual weight you are beginning to walk in. But sensing is not accessing. Your elevation has become a threat to those who depended on your stagnation. Some were comfortable as long as you stayed small. Others were confident as long as you stayed predictable. But now you have become unpredictable even to yourself at times, because you're being guided not by logic, but by divine instruction. Your steps are no longer self-directed. They are spirit-led. And those who try to follow you spiritually are losing their way because your path is not lit by the same light that guides them. You are walking under heaven's lamp, not their intuition. Anointed one, feel this truth deeply. Your wealth was not hidden because God doubted you. It was hidden because God trusted you. Trusted you enough to protect what was coming until the environment around you was purified. Trusted you enough to wait until every counterfeit connection was removed. Trusted you enough to withhold abundance until your discernment sharpened. Sometimes God hides the blessing to strengthen the vessel. That's what he did with you. And now, because of that season of concealment, you are stepping into a future where you will not just receive abundance, you will sustain it. There is a maturity on you now that wasn't there before, a clarity, a sacred weight, a quiet authority that didn't come from ease, but from endurance. This is why heaven is releasing what once seemed delayed. You are ready, not just ready to receive, but ready to carry, manage, guard, and multiply. Chosen one. You are entering a season where people will not understand how you rose so quickly. They will not understand how doors opened for you effortlessly. They will not understand how opportunities found you without a single introduction. But you will know it was hidden. It was preserved. It was sealed. And now, chosen one, it is being released, not because of who they thought you were, but because of who heaven has always known you are. Chosen one, there is a sacred truth rising in your spirit, even now, something you may not have had the language for, but you have always felt. It is the awareness that you were never meant to remain in the shadows of your own story. You were meant to rise, to step into a divine measure of influence, clarity, and abundance that reflects the hand of God on your life. Yet before this unveiling could take place, heaven had to handle the unseen threats that tried to reach for you. And now that those forces have been scattered, the path before you is clearing in ways that your natural eyes are only beginning to recognize. Anointed One. The reason you have felt spiritually insulated is because God has been sanctifying your atmosphere. He has been cleansing it of voices, intentions, and energies that were not aligned with your calling. You may have wondered why certain people drifted away, why some connections dissolved without confrontation, why relationships that once felt essential suddenly fell flat. You may have even grieved these departures, thinking you were losing pieces of your support system. But in reality, heaven was removing access points, closing spiritual windows that others used to observe you without permission. Your separation was not loss, it was protection. I've lived that kind of separation myself, where God quietly rearranged my circle without asking for my approval. People I thought would walk with me forever suddenly became spiritually distant. Their interest faded, their intentions shifted, and their ability to understand me diminished. At the time, I questioned the purpose of such pruning. But looking back, it is clear God was not subtracting from my life. He was safeguarding His investment in me. And Chosen One, He has done the same for you. Anyone who could have mishandled your blessing was removed before the blessing arrived. What you must understand now is that your hidden wealth is not limited to money. Yes, financial increase is part of your portion. Yes, opportunities are aligned with your name. Yes, resources have been stored up on your behalf. But your true wealth also includes wisdom, peace, discernment, spiritual authority, emotional stability, and divine timing. Wealth in heaven's eyes is wholeness, not just possession. And God has been making you whole in ways that only separation, pruning, and sanctification could accomplish. Hey, Chosen One. You didn't just survive the spiritual attempts against your destiny, you outgrew them. You ascended above them. You became someone their spiritual tools were never designed to study. Every attack that formed against you inadvertently revealed the strength of what God placed inside you. And as they fell back in confusion, you moved forward in purpose. That is the supernatural reversal of those chosen by God. What was meant to weaken you ends up confirming your power. What was meant to intimidate you ends up strengthening your authority. What was meant to break you ends up unveiling the blueprint of your resilience. Some of the people who tried to access your path weren't malicious, they were unprepared. They didn't understand the weight of your calling. They didn't understand